Welcome to Purposely Peaceful. I'm your host, Jessica Rivera, a licensed marriage and family therapist and a quantum hypnosis practitioner. This podcast is where real life meets inner peace. You'll get honest conversations, practical tools, and soulful guidance to help you live with more clarity, calm, and purpose. Let's dive in. Hello, welcome back. Let me start by explaining why I haven't talked all that much about hypnosis up until now. For a lot of people, it challenges their narratives, their beliefs, and how they see the world. Honestly, it blew my mind when I started to learn about it. I'd say it challenges you in all the best ways. Unless you've had a hypnosis session with me or live with me, I haven't said much about it publicly. But in this episode, I'm introducing you to what I believe is one of the most profound ways to truly unpack, understand, and support your healing process. I love being a therapist, but dare I say, it's a little limiting. In therapy, there aren't any shortcuts. That's not a bad thing, it's just the nature of the work. So stick around because I'm sharing my own hypnosis session, why I was disappointed at first, and how I became a complete believer. What I'm doing here is I'm integrating my clinical experience as a therapist, what I've learned through hypnosis, and as someone who practices what she preaches. I've looked within myself to do a lot of this work. My hope for you is that this inspires you to live life on your terms with more peace and purpose. Let's start with what it's not. Quantum hypnosis isn't what you may have seen at the fair when you were little. When people from the audience are brought on stage and asked to dance like chickens or Michael Jackson, and it was really funny, very entertaining, but the kind of hypnosis I'm talking about today isn't like that at all. It isn't about suggestion, it doesn't implant ideas or control your mind in any way. The first program I trained in was by Dolores Cannon, who created quantum healing hypnosis technique, also known as QHHT. Later, I became certified in Beyond Quantum Healing, BQH. That was developed by Candice Crowell-Goldman, one of Dolores' students. While their approaches are a little bit different, both are centered on helping people through their healing journey by learning through themselves. Quantum hypnosis is a powerful relaxation technique that helps your subconscious uncover itself. Most often, your subconscious is truly trying to reveal something to you. As practitioners, we aren't leading you to make up stories. We're just asking you to describe what you feel, see, hear, and know. Your mind naturally brings up images, thoughts, or sensations, and we ask questions to help you explore them. In a way, you're painting the picture and we're just walking beside you, helping you explore the story your subconscious is bringing to the surface. It's self-discovery through guided awareness. If you're curious about what a session feels like, know that you're not just lying there in silence. I guide you into a deeply relaxed state, then gently ask you open-ended questions. You'll feel like you're completely awake. You're never alone in the process. You're simply being supported to access your own inner wisdom. Now I want to talk about the difference between therapy versus hypnosis. As both a therapist and a quantum hypnosis practitioner, I've noticed something interesting. Clients are doing the same type of healing work through two different paths. Both explore conscious and subconscious beliefs, motivations, and meanings. The main difference is how the information is accessed. Therapy takes time. It's a slower process involving unpacking and processing. Hypnosis, though, it has the potential to get you straight to the core in one session. That's right, a few hours and you might uncover what your subconscious has been trying to tell you all along. Everyone's experience is different. Both approaches are powerful. It really just comes down to what resonates with you. Now let me share with you why I fell in love with quantum hypnosis. I call it quantum hypnosis because it's an easy way to explain what it is. But officially, I use BQH, Beyond Quantum Healing. What I love about it is that it lets you quantum jump into a completely different space in your subconscious. It sounds wild, but literally that's what happens. You find yourself in another place and time, accessing deep wisdom or experiences that feel like they're from beyond this life. If this is new to you, be prepared. Your beliefs might be challenged, but I mean that in a healthy way. It's good to grow beyond what's familiar, to hear stories or insights that stretch your perspective. That's how we evolve. I remember a time when a family member handed me a book about a shaman in the Andes Mountains. The very first paragraph felt so unbelievable that I had to put the book down. But then I caught myself and I thought, if this is his experience, who am I to say that it's not true? And so with that, I picked it back up and I chose to read it with an open heart. And I just want to say that it's okay to be skeptical. Here's the thing, you might hear things in this episode that feel impossible, and that's okay. You might think that isn't true, or there's no way I believe that. You may even feel some kind of fear or wonder if this is wrong or dark or evil. But let me be clear, there is no darkness in what I'm sharing. It's all rooted in love. If something you hear feels confusing or even triggering, I get it. You can take whatever resonates and leave the rest. There's no pressure, just love and openness. I want to talk about a fast path to healing. This is where quantum hypnosis comes in. Think of it as a fast path to direct guidance, a tool that helps you release emotional buildup, not just from this lifetime, but potentially from others as well. People often experience everything from seemingly simple memories like a conversation with a loved one or a childhood moment, to incredibly vivid, otherworldly lifetimes filled with symbolism and deep meaning. Let me share with you my own hypnosis session. By the time that I had my first session, I had already read over 20 books, if not more, on this kind of quantum hypnosis. I had already worked with several clients, and some of their experiences were miraculous, honestly. I was in complete awe at what has come through for some of my clients. So I had high expectations for my own session, whether or not that was my intention. At first, I struggled to concentrate. I was recovering from a cold. I still am right now, actually. But what came up first was me standing at the top of a mountain with a sliver of flattened land, and the ground was wet, and there was a small waterfall nearby. And then I was asked to go where I lived. And so then it's kind of like I just stood in front of it all of a sudden. And when I was asked to go where I lived, I saw these small arch shaped homes overlooking the ocean. I was in a small white clay home built into the hillside, like the ones you see in Santorini, Greece, but there was a row of them, and one of these was my home. It had a smooth, curved wall and arch ceiling that made the space feel peaceful and protected. It was simple but sacred, cool, quiet, and deeply familiar, like a place I'd been to before, except they were empty. Like I was visiting a place that existed, but no one else was there. I couldn't see any furniture of any kind. I could see myself standing there in my own body, but not my current body right now. I could see my feet, my hands, and my long white shirt tied at the waist. I felt more masculine, so I assumed I was a man with ashy blonde wavy hair up to my neck, wearing a rope bracelet. The most striking thing was how real it felt. I could literally feel the textures and smell the air and hear sounds and even touch things. That alone was wild for me. And then we left that scene and I was moved to another scene where I found myself at the beach, specifically the beach my family used to go to when I was a child. I saw a little girl, probably around 7 years old, standing at the water's edge, staring out at the ocean. Her green dress and light brown hair moved with the wind. As I went deeper into the session, I realized that that little girl was me. I started crying because in that same instant, I could feel what she felt. She felt alone, wondering why everyone was so busy they couldn't play with her. I could see images of my parents working, just doing what parents do. Little kids don't know or understand why parents have to work. And in that moment, I felt this deep wave of compassion for her. And without being guided, I, the grown up me, started to play with little me. We spent the whole day together talking, playing in the sand, splashing in the water, watching the sunset. It was like I was pouring love back into myself and simultaneously releasing emotions I no longer needed to carry. Before this, I hadn't made much of an effort to understand all the people talking about inner child healing, perhaps because I was avoiding it or it just hadn't caught my attention. But this experience showed me how powerful that inner work could actually be. I didn't consciously know that I had issues with loneliness as a child, but now looking back, I mean, it kind of makes sense now that I think about it. I understand that no one's to blame, it was just my experience. My parents worked hard, like everyone else's parents, but maybe, just maybe, some part of me needed something different at that time. In the end, I gave myself exactly what I needed. This, in fact, was very healing, releasing emotions I no longer needed to carry. And I think that even now, I'm sure there's still layers of that that I'm still healing, but I think that that awareness has been really eye-opening for me. And I want to share one more story. This one's really close to my heart. And this is a session that I had with my daughter a few years ago, and we talked about me discussing it on this episode, and she was all for it. She was actually disappointed that I wasn't going to share more, because this is such a small, small, small portion of what came through in her session. I just think that it might blow your mind if I shared the whole story. Maybe we'll share that story sometime in the future. She went under hypnosis very easily and started communicating everything she was seeing and feeling. At first, things were a little fuzzy, like she wasn't able to kind of have a clear picture, but then she found herself standing at the edge of a cliff, like something you'd see at the Grand Canyon or in a desert somewhere. Shortly after, someone spoke to her, a man with blue eyes and light hair. He introduced himself as her guardian angel. And no, he didn't show up with wings. And almost immediately, she released a huge burst of emotion, tears of joy, love, and relief. She felt this immense, otherworldly love from him, almost an indescribable kind of love. And so now that she was able to have this clear line of communication with him, we had a list of questions that we wanted to ask. One of the things she asked was why her biological dad wasn't in her life. And he lovingly told her that she would have suffered more if he had stayed. And he also said that the dad who raised her, my husband Jimmy, was meant to be her dad because she deserved a father who could love her unconditionally and take good care of her. She was crying. I was crying, trying to keep some level of composure because I had a list of questions that I was trying to get through. That whole experience was so deeply moving, and I feel like it was another layer of healing. Ever since this hypnosis session, our relationship with our daughter has been absolutely phenomenal and so much better. Being part of that session reminded me that healing is divinely orchestrated, that for our healing, that our experiences are part of how it's all meant to unfold for a reason. This goes back to my belief that everything happens on purpose, that there's no such thing as coincidences. In most of my episodes, I've shared my innermost thoughts, not because I want to spill my business, and I'm definitely not airing our dirty laundry, but because these stories are part of my past. I've been steadfast on my healing journey, and the pursuit of inner peace has brought me to a place where I'm finally ready to share more openly. This episode was a little harder for me to record because, yes, my ego still whispers, "You sound crazy." But I know in my heart that I'm not, and people can think whatever they want, and that's okay. We're allowed to feel however we feel, it doesn't have to make sense. This is simply my perspective, my lived experience, and if something here resonated with you, I love to hear what stood out to you. And hey, if this episode sparked something in you and you're curious to experience it for yourself, and remember, my beliefs don't have to be yours. We can all coexist, learn from one another, and be mutually supportive. I share these stories because life is worth living, it's worth striving for, and most importantly, it's worth following your heart. So I invite you to wonder, to be curious, and to reflect on what's inside of you. If what you've heard today feels confusing or hard to believe, that's okay, I get it. And for those of you that are struggling to believe, let me address a couple common questions I get asked. One of the questions is, what if it doesn't work? And first and foremost, I don't even believe in coincidences. I believe that everything happens for a reason, whether we love it or not. When you experience a hypnosis session, you will only experience what you're meant to experience. Trust that your subconscious mind is powerful and will provide you exactly what you need in that moment. Or in the rare event that you have a hard time, that's exactly how it was supposed to be. The other question I get asked is if I believe if it's real, or how do I know if it's real? There's two ways to look at it. One is that your subconscious mind creates a story, like a dream, to show you something. And you don't have to believe that it's true. It can simply be a lesson. It's meant to help whatever you're going through at the moment. The other is that you believe that you've lived another life at another time, and that life is truly full of wonder and infinite possibilities. Everything happens for a reason, on purpose, for a much greater cause than we can possibly imagine. Does it really matter if it's real or not? What matters is if it helps you move through something. I can't claim that everything you experience in hypnosis is 100% fact, but if it feels true, that's enough for me. You're welcome to believe whatever feels right for you. I'm simply sharing my experiences and perspectives, and if there's one thing I want you to take away today, it's this. Life is more magical than we give it credit for. We've gotten so used to seeing life as predictable, but if we open ourselves up to the unknown, we might just start noticing that miracles unfold every single day. So I invite you to be curious, to explore the possibility that there's more to your life, your purpose, and your potential. You might just find that the journey to your own inner peace and understanding has only just begun. In the next episode of Purposely Peaceful, we're tackling something that's all too familiar: the drama that we unintentionally invite into our lives. We all want peace, but sometimes, without realizing it, we're also inviting chaos to take up space. This episode is all about the power of boundaries and self reflection. If you're ready to clean up the drama and create a life that feels more intentional, this episode is for you. Let's dive into how to stop the cycle and start living with more clarity and calm.
Thanks for spending a little time with me today. I hope something here met you right where you are. This podcast is for inspiration only and not a substitute for therapy. Please reach out to a licensed professional if you need support. I'll catch you on the next one.